Executive Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission, who is already seated, and the Honorable Commissioners of the National Assembly Service Commission. We also would like to acknowledge the presence of the Secretary to the National Assembly Service Commission, and also the directors from the National Assembly Service Commission and top management officers from the National Assembly Service Commission. You are most welcome. In a few minutes' time, the program is going to kickstart. Thank you for coming, and do have a great day.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm also told that His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also the Chairman of the National Assembly, will be joining us in just a few minutes. So while we wait for his arrival, I'd like to respectfully plead with us to observe strictly the coronavirus disease 2019 protocol, which is still harassing humanity, by properly wearing our face masks. Please, let's properly wear our face masks. We'll have enough to go around, so please, we can't be miserly with it. Please, His Excellency, the President of the Senate, will be joining us soon. I thank you so much. The Project Implementation Committee would like you to please detail some of your staff to go around with the masks for our invited guests to observe the safety protocol, please. Distinguished senators have started arriving. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Establishment, Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, sir, you're welcome, recognize you. Chairman, Senate Committee on Public Service and Establishment, Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, we welcome you to this historic event, the foundation laying of the permanent site of the National Assembly Service Commission complex.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, the person of His Excellency Ahmed Idris Wasi. Sir, you are most welcome.
It is very important we adhere strictly to the coronavirus disease safety protocol. We have enough face masks for all of us, more than enough, please. We don't need to shy away or pretend about it. Please, let's wear our face masks, and properly, too. Thank you very much. The Project Implementation Committee has detailed one of their staff right beside me with the nose masks, face masks. You may simply indicate by raising up your hand, and he will definitely approach you. Please, if you need the face masks, nose masks, whatever name you call it, he's right here with me at the center. You beckon on him and he will approach you. Please. Thank you. Just for the records, the event is the foundation laying ceremony of the National Assembly Service Commission Permanent Office Complex project. Very, very historic, taking place right here in the National Assembly.
Please, we want to announce that all photographers will clear the VIP seats, please.
Cameraman, please. Gentlemen in front of the high table will respectfully appeal to you to please access yourselves to better positions to clear the aisle for His Excellency, the President of the Senate, who will be joining us in just a few seconds. Please, cameraman, please. You may reposition yourselves in the interim as His Excellency arrives the venue, please. And the gentleman in front here, please. 1, 2, 3, gentlemen, the lady, please. Just for now, please. The chief detail with the dark bones, please. Gentlemen, please. Your principal is safe with us. You may just excuse us for now. Thank you very much. Please join us. Join us this way. Thank you, sir. May we please rise as we welcome His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also the chairman. It's actually the Deputy President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ovie Omo Agege. So you're welcome. The Deputy President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Ovie Omo Agege. Your Excellency, we welcome you to the historic event, that's the foundation laying ceremony of the National Assembly Service Commission Permanent Office Complex Project, taking place right here at the National Assembly Complex. And indeed, His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, CON, is also the Chairman of the National Assembly, is arriving the venue. I can see his details. His photographer, Mr. Tokwe, will recognize you. May we please rise as we welcome His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also the Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, CON. Technical crew, please get set for His Excellency, who is accompanied by the leader of the Senate, and of course, other distinguished senators. We may please remain standing. Is accompanied by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, distinguished Senator Barau Jibril. We may please remain standing. Technical crew, please give us the national anthem. I'd like to invite to the podium the Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, to please give us the address of welcome. Mr. Chairman, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, Your Excellency, the Speaker, House of Representatives, ably represented, distinguished senators here present, honorable members of the House here present, the CNA, my colleagues, commissioners, management staff, invited guests. We are sorry for the short interruption by the public address system. I was made to understand that it is the Senate President's security system that blocked us out. So we thank God that it has been relieved now. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, those of us who are privileged to attend the engineering trainings, right from the technical college level to the polytechnic to the university, once you step into the classroom, the very first word that will be drummed into your ear is the word safety. And that word will continuously be drummed into your ear until you graduate. There is no engineering activity that has no safety risks. To this effect, Your Excellencies, very soon we are moving into a construction site full of hazards, debris, flying objects, pits around. May I humbly request that as we move into the site, let's please abide by all the safety instructions that will be given to us by the management of the site. It's very critical. More particularly, the photographers who tend to move backwards If you don't take time, you'll fall in a ditch and we'll leave you there and go away. So please, safety first. Let's observe all the instructions that will be given to us by the site managers in regards to safety as we move in. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beneficent, the most merciful for making it possible for us to witness this historic day of the foundation laying ceremony of the construction of the permanent site of the National Assembly Service Commission. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is a 20-year dream that has come true. I am especially proud that this is happening during the lifespan of the 9th National Assembly. For the past 20 years, it has been looked forward to see that the National Assembly Service Commission gets a befitting office. Until today, with the magnanimity of these champions of democracy, that we are getting this to take place today. We are most grateful, Your Excellencies. The National Assembly Service Commission, as it is today, came into being in the year 2000, but never had the privilege of having a permanent office. It started operations in a tiny office space at the Federal Secretariat, later in a rented space in Wuse Zone 2, and now in Utako, also a rented office. All are not conducive for an office complex for a democratic institution like the National Assembly Service Commission. Your Excellencies, we are ever grateful for this magnanimity. We remain most grateful, most grateful for the 9th Assembly for this consideration. It is with this sense of pleasure, delight, and satisfaction, and indeed a sense of duty, that I welcome you to this epic occasion of the foundation laying of the construction of the permanent office complex of the National Assembly Service Commission at the strategic location of the National Assembly Complex. The planning process for the project started since the year 2010 with the appointment of Tried Associates as the consultant for the stages 1 and 2 of the project, comprising of preliminary designs for the architectural services, civil and structural services, electrical and mechanical engineering services, quantity surveying services, preparation of working drawings, technical and engineering specifications, bills of quantities, preparation and production of tender documents and contract conditions. All these processes were completed by the consultant, but the award of the contract could not see the light of the day due to lack of budgetary provision for the budget by the previous leaderships of the National Assembly. Until this year, 2021, by the magnanimity of the leadership of the 9th Assembly, the undisputed champions of democracy in Nigeria. Once again, we are most grateful, Your Excellencies. The 5th National Assembly Service Commission found it expedient to re-engage Tried Associates for the stage 3 of the project, considering their professional competence and to ensure continuity. At inception in 2010, the construction cost of the project was estimated at 2.5 billion naira. But as of today, the cost of the project is 11.65 billion naira due to inflationary trends and incorporation of modern materials and facilities to the building. When we came in, we reviewed the design. We maintained the architectural design, but we looked at some of the facilities to be provided, and we felt that they needed to be upgraded. This is what we have done that brought up the cost of the project up to 11.6 billion naira. The contractor, Strabi Construction Limited, was skillfully selected from a number of bidders for their experience, technical and financial capabilities. The completion period of the project is 104 weeks. That's approximately 2 years, but could be much, much earlier if timely funded. That is the assurance given to us by the contractor. The capital provision of National Assembly Service Commission in this year's budget is 3 billion naira. Even though this is not enough to pay the 30% mobilization fees as required by law, the contractor was able to mobilize to site and acquire a reasonable quantity of materials with what we were able to pay him for that. It is our prayer that the National Assembly leadership will continue with this magnanimity to make a provision of 10 billion naira in the 2022 budget so that the project can be completed, furnished, and commissioned by the current leadership of the National Assembly, bi-iznillah. Finally, Your Excellency, I once again welcome you all to this occasion. We remain ever appreciative to the leadership of the National Assembly for all the support to the National Assembly Service Commission. You are ever loyal democratic institution, Your Excellencies. May God Almighty bless us all. Amen. Masalam.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands once again for the Executive Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, a seasoned administrator, and a strategic thinker. Please, let's put our hands together for him as he takes his seat. We make progress as I invite for briefing from the project consultant as he comes up now, architect Michael Baker. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellencies, distinguished visitors, permit me to stand on the existing protocol that has been established. We, the project team members, the consultants and the contractors, are honored by your presence today, Wednesday, the 20th of October, 2001, to lay the foundation of this national project, the National Assembly Service Commission Office Complex, to be constructed on plot 1517, the central area. The ultimate goal of providing this modern, conducive, and attractive new working environment is to create for an ideal working environment for the Commission. At this time, laying the foundation of such a project, I must say, it's really a big emotional feeling for us, the design team. And it goes for every architect, realizing what has been designed. Permit me at this time to tender apologies from our design team's chairman, Architect Zubair Ahmed, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, who unavoidably is not here with us physically. However, he is following up online. We congratulate all Nigerians for this auspicious occasion today, and we employ that we complete and continue to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols even as we go to lay the foundations. Our vision. The project emphasizes a passive sustainable measure that are appropriate for the environmental, social, and economic context of Abuja. This project will set a new standard in design of sustainable buildings in the country and the wider region. The design concept. The key design features are the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, the unity of Nigeria, and the Aso Rock, which is a major feature of Abuja, where the location of the project is. The building aims to support and promote the local culture and arts of Nigeria through the openings and punch walls to reveal the rich cultural heritage of Nigeria. The design borrows from the great tradition of classic civic architecture, but reinterprets this inspiration in a modern and contemporary way. The building rests on a large plinth, an ambulatory, that is set on the underlying landscape. The entrance of the entire to the building, front of the building, provides a cover portico for arriving visitors and dignitaries. We base on sustainable concept to harness natural energy to reduce building loads and operational cost, so as to improve the quality of the building and spaces. The building itself, it is a building that will maintain the sense of grandeur and scale. We have taken steps to design a building that is highly formal, yet at the same time, human in scale and inviting to the public and visitors. Metaphorically, the 6 pillars represent each of the major zones of Nigeria supported by the very art of the nation. The building is cladded in printed graphical elements to reveal the rich cultural heritage. We have made a subtle reference to the vernacular architecture of the region through the small punch openings in the facades. As a 20, well, Chairman has mentioned, so I will proceed to give us a highlight of what the building contains. We provided for the chairman, the 6 commissioners, the secretary, and 4 departments of the commission. And also parking space on 1 car per 75 square meters of office space. We have the chairman's wing, the commissioner's suites, the department office areas, meeting and boardroom, the committee rooms, the library and archive, the registry, catering dining area, waiting areas, and the car park. The 6 pillars representing each of the 6 geopolitical zones are represented by the pairs of the commissioners. Each pillar provides a generous waiting room and reception areas with commissioner staff accommodation, as well as a private suite for the commissioner and for his personal or her personal staff. There is also a private stair leading between the commissioner's level and his support staff. The pillars are linked by spans between the pillars to provide a view of the landscape to the Aso Rock and the environs. We have a central atrium. The central atrium formed by the arrangement of the 6 pillars is a grand opening, triple height space. It is appropriate to the grand civic function of the building. It is, in the center lies a large reflection pool, which increases the sense of the volume in the space. And it gives a good direct view to the Aso Rock, which is about 2.5 kilometers away. There is a central boardroom. The central boardroom is suspended in the central atrium space. It has sitting arrangement in auditorium form or in the formal round table arrangements. This is an object that blends arts and architecture. It is colored in gold to subtly depict the rich mineral deposits of the country. Vertical transportation of the building is provided by a series of glass panoramic elevators inside the central atrium. The structural design of the building follows a conventional structural system arranged on a 9 by 9 meter grid, which is suitable for both parking and flexible for furniture arrangements. The structure holding up the roof guidance is hidden in the depth of ground soil that will be required to support the generous planting. The building services are provided in the basement and on the roof. The core of the commission headquarters block provides for the vertical distribution from the basement, and the plant spaces on the roof provides for a vertical downward circulation of the fresh and chill air to the lower offices. Access and parking are taken from the side and not against the such. Access and parking spaces to the constitution are taken from the shorter side of the plot, as felt not to be ideal given to the close proximity to the presidential residence. Therefore, we alternatively propose taking building access from the existing road infrastructure of the National Assembly complex. Minor modification to the House of Representatives surface parking zone may be required. Where we are standing today and where we are laying the foundation will be the permanent access into the building. In conclusion, to the chairman, commissioners, management, and staff, we are grateful for you to bring today to realization the project that we have before us. We know posterity wouldn't forget you for all. And to the Senate President, the Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, the Senators, members of the House of Representatives, the National Assembly management staff present, the Clerk of the National Assembly, we are grateful for your approving and making this project a reality. The time you have taken to be here would not be forgotten, which will surely be rewarded. For the presidency, we say we are thank you for your leadership, that amidst the insecurity, you still provided the developmental environment. We Nigerians will always remember you. To the Technical and Implementation Committee and the project consultant, Triad Associates, and the main building contractors, Mrs. Trabi Construction Limited, who are 100%, which is 100% Nigerian-owned company and local content. I would say to you, the reward for good work is more work. On our screen behind, I will leave you with a glimpse of what the finished project will be. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Architect Michael Bakar for giving those technical terms concerning the project. I'd like to quickly invite to the podium as we receive the remark from the contractor, Architect Dr. Obioha. Please, can you step forward? Let's put our hands together for him.
The Senate President, the Speaker, House of Representatives, the Deputy Senate President, and the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, the distinguished senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives, His Excellencies, distinguished guests and visitors. Today we gather here for the groundbreaking ceremony for the National Assembly Service Commission Office Complex, which is historic, marking the start of the construction of the project. First of all, I want to thank the Project Implementation Committee for the support they've given us thus far in the implementation of this project. After the site handing over, we commenced the project in earnest. We encountered a slight challenge by the reason of the bed of rock that we encountered on the site, which was not properly recorded in the soil investigation report. However, our team of engineers are working to handle that challenge. We have fully studied the contract documents and we are fully mobilized to tackle the project according to specifications. Our quality control team are fully poised to maintain project standard and specifications according to design. And our safety team are fully on ground to maintain the policy, the safety standards that are required for this project. And we are sure the clients and everybody seated here that this project will be committed on schedule according to specifications and quality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Without wasting much time, we'll move to the next item on the program, which is goodwill messages. To first give us these messages, among the messages, is the clerk to the National Assembly, Architect Olatunji Amos Ojo. We hope the goodwill messages will be as brief as possible.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan Ibrahim, PhD, and Are Akorewolu of Inyiland, Inyi Kingdom. The deputy President of the Senate, His Excellency Senator Ovie Omohagigi, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, ably represented herein today by His Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Hamid Idris Wase, the Senate Leader, Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, all the principal officers of the National Assembly, distinguished senators, the honorable members, the chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, the honorable commissioners, the secretaries to various directorates of the National Assembly, the consultants and the contractors, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today is very significant and will remain indelible in the annal of history. That the foundation of the National Assembly Service Commission Office Complex is being laid after being designed, thought of, programmed for over 20 years. And now we have a building. We are going to have a building that will provide state-of-the-art accommodation for not only the chairman of commissions and the commissioner, but also the staff members of National Assembly Service Commissions. On this note, I just have to congratulate the Senate President once again, His Excellency Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, PhD, CON, the Speaker of the House of Representatives as well, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Speaker, the Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, Engineer Merikadi, Honorable Commissioner and the top management and the entire staff of National Assembly Service for being part of this epoch-making event. My heart is gladdened in the sense that this foundation laying ceremony is like an imaginary needle being pierced into the hearts of the staunchest pessimist of independence of the legislature in Nigeria. Why? Because cynics are deliberately attempted in several manners, in several ways, to puncture the balloon of independence of the legislative arm by attempting assiduously to reverse the will of our independence, saying that the National Assembly Service Commission should be scrapped. At one time, even when it is quite obvious that the commission came into a system via an act of the parliament. I want to sound it very, very clear and loud here that the independence of the legislature is sacred and constitutional. That the National Assembly Service Act of 2014 in section 6(1) and 2 empowers the National Assembly Service Commission to formulate and implement guidelines for its functions, to appoint persons to hold or act in the offices of clerk to the National Assembly, and etc. While section 7 gives the body power to appoint secretaries to the directorates and Section 8 states that the National Assembly Service Commission has power to appoint holders of other offices that shall be created by the Commission on the recommendation of the clerk to the National Assembly. The implication of this glaring fact above is that the secretaries to the directorates in the National Assembly are equal to the permanent secretary as obtained in the Federal Civil Service of Nigeria. Section 158(1) of the 1999 Constitution even stipulates bodies that have independent status, of which the National Assembly Service Commission is one. For the avoidance of doubt, the National Assembly is a master of its own house, according to the constitutional enactment of the concept of separation of power. However, no arm of government can work in isolation of one another. The National Assembly Service Commission's powers are not in conflict with those under the Federal Civil Service Commission or Office of the Head of Service. It is standing alone, independent and distinct, yet enjoys symbiotic relationship when the need arises. That the National Assembly Service Commission has been instituted to serve the interests of the legislature of Nigeria is to say that 100% loyalty will continuously be expected from the workforce, unlike the situation that was in operation before the birth of National Assembly, a National Assembly Act in 2014. I therefore urge state governors at this point and speakers of the House, the state houses of assembly, to grant operational independence to State Assembly Service Commission in the spirit of true separation of powers, so that they can be in position to appoint suitable staff to manage their affairs efficiently and effectively. State governors should act proactively now in this regard. This ceremony is indeed a monumental proof of the sustained efforts of all progressive stakeholders within the National Assembly, who have been standing fabulously to ensure the prevalence of the doctrine of the separation of power in our democratic process in Nigeria. So the success we are recording today cannot be isolated from the fantastic leadership roles being displayed and enjoyed also by the most distinguished President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, once again, Akuriwolu of Inyi Kingdom, and the cerebral Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Areba Asufin of Yoruba Land. I must say that the present political leadership of the National Assembly has been a profound blessing to the bureaucracy of the National Assembly and will forever be remembered, even nationally. This is to also commend the absolutely progressive allies being displayed by the current leadership of the National Assembly Service Commission since they came on board, which has improved positively on the welfare of the staff of the National Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to deviate a bit before I conclude my assignment here. We have a case of missing journalist on our hands, Mr. Chude Salem, Vanguard correspondent and easygoing, dutiful and industrious member of the House of Representatives Press Corps, who furnished acclaim since Wednesday, October 13, 2021 in Abuja here, just vanished into the thing here. Every effort being made to trace him has regrettably proved abortive, as Mr. Salem is yet to be found. I am therefore using this opportunity to passionately call on all security agencies and men of goodwill to assist in getting him out from oblivion. Chodu Salem must not be allowed to disappear perpetually. I hereby assure his family, colleagues, and friends that we continue to support them even in these trying moments. Let me, on a final note, use this wonderful opportunity to assure the leadership of the National Assembly Service Commission and the political leadership of the National Assembly that we, at the bureaucratic end of this system, we continue to exploit every available window of administrative synergy to advance the welfare of the staff of the National Assembly and the sustainable development of parliamentary democracy in Nigeria. I want to thank you all for the time spent and the listening here. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Clerk to the National Assembly, for the very, very short remarks given to us this afternoon. We also want to thank the clerk once again for establishing the protocol on which I have the mandate of the distinguished senators and members for others to stand upon and give us their own remarks by way of synopsis. Let's give ourselves a summary of what we want to present to save time. On that note, we invite the chairman of the House Committee on Public Service Matters for his goodwill message. You may please approach the podium, stand on already established protocol by the clerk to the National Assembly, and give us your message abridged by way of synopsis, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. I stand on the existing protocol, but nevertheless, I will not, continue without recognizing the presence of the Senate President, Alhaji Ahmed Lawan, the Speaker, House of Representatives, ably represented by the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, the Leader, Senate Leader, the Chairman Appropriation of the Senate, the Chairman Senate Committee on Public Service Matters, invited guest, the Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission and his Honorable Commissioners President, invited guest, thank you. There is no gainsaying in the fact that this foundation laying ceremony for the for the permanent office of the National Assembly Service Commission is a historic event. I am therefore elated to be part of this history. It is pertinent to note that since the return of democracy rule in 1999, the legislative arm of the government in Nigeria has strived to operate at par with the other arms of government. This, no doubt, as a result of many years of being in abeyance, however, consequent upon long stretch of uninterrupted democracy in the country from the period, many efforts have been put in place to build a legislative arm in Nigeria, including establishing a peculiar public service of parliamentary service, which has in turn helped to create institutional memory for the legislative arm. Indeed, it is also very important to state that the enactment of the law establishing the National Assembly Service Commission in 2000 signaled the very essence of legislative or parliamentary service in Nigeria. For some obvious reason, the National Assembly Service Commission has performed all her important tasks, functions, and responsibilities in a rented apartment for a long while. This lack of conducive environment for the Commission apparently affect the level of performance or productivity, and continues to eat deep in the purse of the National Assembly in view of the monies allocated for payment of rent. In this regard, today we have a cause to rejoice as history is being made as the building of the permanent office structures of the Commission has begun. We must at this juncture commend the 9th National Assembly for making difference and ensuring that other aspects of legislative besides lawmaking and oversight are put in the right perspectives to engineer a holistic progress of the legislative arm in Nigeria. This, the 9th Assembly has done by approving improvement in staff welfare and also being instrumental to today's foundation laying ceremony. It is our wish that government shall see reasons why this action is of allocating and making available adequate periodic funding for the completion of this office structure should be sustained in order to provide a conducive working environment for members of staff of the Commission. On behalf of the House of Representative Committee of Public Service Matters, I wish to assure you of our support for this project and many other ideas that are capable of lifting the image of the Commission indeed and the entire National Assembly. I therefore congratulate the Chairman, members of staff of the National Assembly Service Commission for being a pioneers of this laudable project. I also congratulate the President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, for the effective roles they play toward ensuring that the building of the permanent office of the National Assembly Service Commission comes to pass. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Next on the program is the goodwill message, which will be given to us by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Establishment in Public Service, Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellencies, the leaders of the National Assembly, my distinguished and honorable colleagues, members of the National Assembly, Chairman and Commission members of the National Assembly Service Commission, the clerk, and other management staff of the National Assembly, distinguished and respected ladies and gentlemen. I wish to, on behalf of the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service, bring to you our best wishes and wish to congratulate the leadership of the National Assembly for this very historic landmark. In opposition as the supervising committee over the National Assembly Service Commission, I wish to assure one and all that through our oversight responsibility, we will follow up and give close marking to the contractors, the consultants, and ensure that we get value for our money, and ensure that we execute the project in what we call speed and accuracy. We definitely will want to see it through within the period of the current leadership and the 9th Senate and the 9th National Assembly, but at the same time, while we want to see the speed, we want to bring to the attention of the contractors, we will not overlook any lapses or any aspect of the quality of the job. Once again, we congratulate the leadership, we congratulate the commission members in whose time this historic event is taking place after 20 years in the waiting. My first interaction with the National Assembly Service Commission was sometime in November 2019 when we had the first budget defense of the 9th Senate. I was certainly surprised that 20 years the National Assembly Service Commission was still in the rented apartments. But thank God we are now beginning to see this is the beginning of the growth and development of democracy in Nigeria. Once again, congratulations and wish us the best from the Committee on Establishment and Public Service. Thank you and well done.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands once again for His Excellency Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, Chairman, Senate Committee on Establishment. On this note, I'd like to profoundly welcome to the podium the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wasi, for his remarks. Your Excellency, sir.
Yeah, Excellency, the Senate President, my brother, my leader, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, Deputy Senate President, my brother, distinguished Senator Umar Agege, the Senate Leader, Senator Haya, the Deputy House Leader, my brother, Honorable Patterson, distinguished Chairman of the Senate in Committee of Public Service Matters, my brother, His Excellency Senator Shekarau, my brother, Chairman of Appropriation, His Excellency, Inshallah, Senator Barau, my brother, Chairman of the House Committee on Public Service, Engineer, Chairman of the Commission, SCNA, distinguished personalities here present, members of the press, I want to say a very warm good evening. First, to appreciate the favor done to us by God Almighty by giving us good health and bringing us here to witness one of the very great achievement of the 9th National Assembly. That is the foundation laying ceremony of the National Service, Assembly Service Commission. I want to say, first, I wish to congratulate on behalf of the Speaker. I'm not standing here as Ahmed Idris or Deputy Speaker. The invitation that was given to me to present here is for that of the Speaker. And so on behalf of the Speaker and members of the House of Representatives, we wish to congratulate the leadership of the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly, and members of the Commission and the staff of the National Assembly for this very, very wonderful feat and achievement. Two things are important in somebody's life that could make you a happy person. One is a place of work. The other one is your home. And I do believe that if you do not have a very conducive atmosphere to give in your best, whenever it's time for you to get to your office, it's like possibly going to hell. Your Excellency, I was a member of the Public Service Commission from 2007 to 2011. And for very good reasons, I want to say that some of the narrations here are given are not the correct narration. Possibly because we do not have institutional memory. And the absence of that institutional memory because we do not have a conducive atmosphere to operate. Otherwise, the information would have been correct and apt. As a member of the Public Service Commission then, I knew, yes, the officers were operating first in Secretariat, rented apartment. Attempts were also made to buy structure for them. And I knew that some money was budgeted. And after a series, before the engagement of the consultants to come and do this, I knew all this was done under our watch. But what we're having today as narration as to how this structure is being built is very different from the true story of what I knew as a member of Public Service Commission. And so I am very much delighted, and I join hundreds and millions of well-wishers who mean well for democracy, who mean well for our country, to congratulate you, National Assembly Service Commission, for this very wonderful feat. And my prayer is that the contractors will live up to expectation And like my brother, His Excellency former Governor Shekarau and distinguished senator said, we'll be glad to witness the commissioning of this project within the span of this administration. And we will not be supportive of any attempt to delay deliverance of this project in terms of quality and then time. Many projects have suffered delivery period in National Assembly, and a good example is NILS, the National Legislative Institute, which have taken much number of years before, up to this moment, it's not yet completed. And another one is by the gate. As you are coming in, you see the quotas, which up to now have not been delivered. And my prayer is that as we start this project, every kobo will be utilized. And I'm asking for value for money, and we will charge all our committee members to ensure that whatever amount that is released, there should be a commercial value as to what is on ground. Thank you very much. May God Almighty help us, and may the infinite mercy of God be upon this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the main purpose of our being here today, I'd like the protocol officers to His Excellency to please arrange the podium, the cameramen to reposition themselves to capture His Excellency, the President of the Senate, as he gives his remarks. Please, may we rise as we welcome to the podium His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, CON.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my brother and friend, Honorable Femi Bajaba Mila, very well and ably represented here by the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy President of the Senate, the Senate Leader, and the Deputy House Leader, very distinguished and honored members of the House, the Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission and the Honorable Commissioners of the Commission, the Clerk to the National Assembly, and top management of the National Assembly. Let me also rest on the existing protocol, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press. Let me start by thanking Almighty God for sparing our lives to witness this very important, historic and memorable occasion. Today is a very important day for us and for democracy. We all recall how this arm of government, the legislature, has been so disadvantaged because of its suspension and non-existence in the past. In our checkered history, the executive and the judiciary have had full life right from independence, in fact, even before independence. And there is little wonder, therefore, that they have their infrastructure in place. They have well-trained manpower in place. That is not the story about the legislature in Nigeria, as we all know. The legislature has had very checkered and difficult history. 3-4 years in existence, 10 years and more of non-existence. And this is the first time ever that we have the longest life of the legislature in Nigeria, been in existence for over 20 years today. There is little wonder, therefore, that we are still undertaking what ordinarily should be basic infrastructural development for the legislature. This project, the National Assembly Service Commission, Permanent Office Complex, should have been in existence not 20 years ago. It should have been in existence maybe more than 60 years ago when Nigeria became independent, at least. But never, better late than never. We all know that this is where democracy lies, here in the National Assembly and in the legislature across the country. And therefore, no amount of investment into funding this very important, and I dare say most important institution of democracy, any amount that we spend in building the National Assembly complex, the National Assembly Service Commission, the NILS, and associated institutions of the legislature in the National Assembly are worth the while. And for us in the 9th National Assembly, I want to congratulate the leadership as well as the membership for having another first. We have recorded so many firsts in this 9th National Assembly in terms of legislation and projects. When we came in 2019, we saw the necessity, the need to rehabilitate the National Assembly complex. And those who have been working in this National Assembly complex and those who have been members of the National Assembly since 1999 know that this is a project that is necessary, that this National Assembly complex needs rehabilitation. But of course, this arm of government is the most misunderstood. And people who are not properly informed and the mischief makers decided to go to town to say, well, the National Assembly is going to spend money on national rehabilitation of National Assembly, which is not even necessary. We have been proven right. National Assembly complex has been leaking, and it is at this point that I want to talk the right message to the Federal Ministry, the FCT and the FCDA to immediately conclude all the procedures and processes for awarding the contract for the rehabilitation of the National Assembly complex. The time cannot be better. We have lost so much time. And I want to assure the National Assembly members and staff that we will do everything possible to ensure that the National Assembly complex is rehabilitated before we take our exit by the grace of God. Coming back to the National Assembly Service Complex that we are talking about today, and of course going to commission the construction. I want to say that this didn't take us long to appreciate the necessity. Of course, the chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission said we gave 3 billion. Yes, that was a starting point. And I want to say here that we will continue to be committed to giving more funds for the construction of this National Assembly Service Commission. The leadership and membership of the National Assembly are totally committed to ensuring that this legislative arm of government is given the kind of support that it deserves for us to have a legislature that will be effective and efficient in delivering its service and mandate. Let me add here that the National Assembly Service Commission is that institution of the legislature that ensures that the right quality of staff are recruited, that ensures training and retraining and appointment of top management into the National Assembly management for service delivery to members of the National Assembly. Most of us are not here as professionals. We are here to represent people, and therefore we need the kind of support that the National Assembly Service Commission staff will deliver to us. And what will make us do well, effectively and efficiently, will be to have National Assembly staff who are well trained and well motivated. We'll support the commission to have staff that will be well motivated for us to get the benefits of their services. Let me also say here, I think the contractor or someone else who spoke before him spoke one language I didn't understand, but I will make effort to make some comments on that. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters, distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, said his committee and that of the House will be supervising, oversighting the construction of this very important, magnificent complex. We as leaders will also be part of that inspection and oversight, because it's so critical to us that we'll team up and give the kind of support that our committees need. For the contractor, it is value for money, like the Deputy Speaker said, and value for money. There will be no variation, so don't waste your time. You better kickstart and maintain the momentum to ensure that we complete this project within its life time. If it is, how many months? How many months is it supposed to last? 24. Well, 24 months, so by 18 months, we would have seen the level of completion. So let's not waste time, because the tendency has always been contractors to come back and say, well, they didn't understand this, now they have seen it. So they need a variation. There will be no variation, because you have exhausted all the processes and the procedures as professionals. Whether it was soil test, to test the strength or the character of the soil, what, you have finished that one. It's not now you start talking about it, because when you start to mention it now, it's like trying to prepare our minds that something will come up. Don't bring it. You are supposed to have known that very, very well ab initio. So, but I want to assure you, Mr. Contractor, that this National Assembly will ensure that we give the kind of funding that will keep you working and working non-stop by the grace of God. Lastly, I want to commend members of the National Assembly who have given all the necessary support to the leadership of the 9th National Assembly for everything to work and fall in place like it has today. And of course, we are in it together that at the end of our tenure in 2023, by the grace of God, we want to hold our heads high to say that we have undertaken all the necessary measures. We have approved and supported all the necessary projects within the National Assembly complex. We want NILS completed this year by the grace of God, or early part of next year. Just like the Deputy Speaker said, the project NILS has been in existence for a long time. The other project, I don't know how it happened. The maybe houses of the presiding officers at the gate, I think it shouldn't have been there. Should have been in a more secured place. But I think the National Assembly should complete that project and maybe see whether it could still be habited by presiding officers who are coming, because we have already been given our rented accommodations, and I'm sure having paid for the number of years will be, maybe we'll ensure that we exhaust the rent. But what is important is to complete the structures there. But what is important is for all those things, the rehabilitation of the National Assembly, complex, this National Assembly Service Commission building complex, and of course NILS. I don't know if there is any other one, but these three projects will keep our eyes on them to ensure that we complete them, or where uncompleted should be at least at the level of 90% completion level, by the grace of God. The chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission was asking about 10 billion. I don't know whether that is correct or not. But I want to assure you that we will do something that will keep this project on, and nothing will stop it by the grace of God. I want to wish the contractor every possible well wishes that you are able to do what is right, that the management of the National Assembly will also be looking out for if there is any need for us to get better staff or more staff. We should be doing that, because at the end of the day, what this structure will mean to us is improvement in the standard quality of the staff that will work in the National Assembly and with members of the National Assembly, because that's the essence. It's not to provide a beautiful, luxurious, cozy office for the chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission and his commissioners. What we want is that complex that will churn in, recruit, train and retrain staff that will give us services to make us better members of the National Assembly and more productive, effective, and efficient. Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Another round of applause for His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the very, very promising and instructive presentations on this historic event. Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, members, and other invited guests, to anchor the concluding part of this historic event, I have the permission of the distinguished senators and members to once again invite, to hand over the microphone, the chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission to coordinate, anchor indeed.
Your Excellencies, yes. Your Excellencies, distinguished senators, members of the House of Representatives here present, will now move into the construction site to lay the foundation of this magnificent project. After laying the block, we'll come out to unveil the foundation laying stone and quickly inspect the model of the project. While we move on, we'll appreciate that everybody wears his kits. We are providing personal protection equipment to every person who is following us into the construction area. That is why I made the initial introduction of safety.
And we're restricted, not all.
And not everybody, please, let's just allow the dignitaries to move on. Just the dignitaries, please. Where's my kit?
His Excellency, the President of the Senate, will lead the team, accompanied by the Deputy President of the Senate. The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, will follow. The Leader of the Senate, distinguished senators, honorable members. The rest of us may stay behind. The rest of us, social distancing is still there, please. We may slow down a bit as we wait for the chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission puts on his kits to join His Excellency, the President of the Senate, Deputy President of the Senate, Deputy Speaker, Leader of the Senate, distinguished senators, members. First, the rest of us, social distancing is still there, please. The rest of us may stay behind or may join us through the projector that we have here. It's beaming live, actually. Test, 1, 2.
Let's put our hands together for the Senate President. He has laid the foundation, laying the block over there. That's the Senate President with the plumb, being assisted by the Executive Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission. Please, let's put our hands together for a job well done by His Excellency, the President of the Senate. The Deputy Senate President is doing a great job. Let's put our hands together. Okay, the Deputy Speaker representing the Speaker, House of Representatives. We have there His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, plumping the block. Please put your hands together for His Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives. They are walking towards the unveiling of the foundation. The unveiling.
National Assembly Service Commission Permanent Office Complex. This foundation stone was laid by me, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, PhD CON, President of the Senate, Chairman, National Assembly, and Right Honorable Femi Bajaba Mila, Speaker, House of Representatives. Today, Wednesday, 20th October 2021, to the glory of God and benefit of Nigerians and the democracy in this country and everywhere in the world. Thank you.
His Excellency, we have a look at the prototype of the building that is already placed under the canopy. The Chairman of the National Assembly will be leading His Excellency to have a look at the prototype of this historic After taking a look at the prototype, we'll quickly take the national anthem that will be the concluding part of this historic event. Thank you very much. As we remain standing, the national anthem, please. The national anthem. Thank you, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Executive Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission, Engineer Ahmed Kadi Amshi, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, would like to thank everyone for being part of this historic event, and we wish you God's journey mercies. Thank you. We sincerely appreciate the leadership of the Senate, the leadership of the House of Representatives, the honorable commissioners, the secretary to the National Assembly, and secretaries from the National Assembly. We recognize your presence and appreciate you for being part of this program.
To elevate the landscape on which the project is built. Metaphorically, the 6 pillars representing each of the major districts of Nigeria is supported by the very earth of the nation. This architecture provides a common public platform through which all of the building's inhabitants and visitors can interact while overlooking the fine landscape towards Aso Rock. This building aims to support and promote the local culture and arts of Nigeria. Towards this end, we have made subtle references to the vernacular architecture of the region through the small punched openings in the facade. We have clad the building in printed graphical elements to reveal the rich cultural heritage of Nigeria in relation to the 6 districts represented by the commissioners. The central atrium that is formed by the arrangement of the 6 pillars is a grand open triple-height space. It is appropriate to the grand civic function of the building. In its center lies a large reflection pool that increases the sense of volume in the space. The 6 pillars represent each of the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, which are represented by the commissioners. The 6 pillars provide generous waiting rooms and reception areas, with commissioner staff accommodation, as well as a private suite for the commissioner and his or her personal staff. There is a private stair leading between the commissioner's level and the supporting areas. The central boardroom is suspended in the central atrium space. It can be provided with auditorium seating or as a setting for formal roundtable discussion. The project uses a simple one-way vehicular driveway system to allow an efficient parking layout. The 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria provide the starting point and design reference for the landscape context. Whilst the location of the NASC headquarters is within the 3-arm zone of the city of Abuja, the building and its occupants represent the geopolitical zones of all of Nigeria, and as such the landscape of the development must be representative of the unity between all of the regions of Nigeria. The architectural design concept was inspired by the notion of supporting the democratic process in Nigeria by making the internal workings of the government clear, open, and transparent. At the same time, It was the intention to provide a building befitting the stately function of the National Assembly Service Commission, a building that would maintain the sense of grandeur and scale established by other surrounding pieces of architecture. The site lies immediately to the east of the National Assembly, within the three-arm zone, central area of Abuja. The landscape interfaces with areas of forest as well as the National Assembly buildings and its associated infrastructure, and acts as a transition point between the developed and natural landscape. One of the primary context elements is Aso Rock. Whilst not physically adjacent to the site, the rock is an element which influences their location. The design seeks to draw this element into the site. Another key driver in the design was the building's relationship to the landscape. Seeking to minimize our disruption of the natural landscape, vegetation, flora and fauna, we have sought to elevate the landscape on which the project is built to the roof level. Metaphorically, the 6 pillars representing each of the major districts of Nigeria is supported by the very earth of the nation. This architecture provides a common public platform through which all of the building's inhabitants and visitors can interact while overlooking the fine landscape towards Aso Rock. This building aims to support and promote the local culture and arts of Nigeria. Towards this end, we have made subtle references to the vernacular architecture of the region through the small punched openings in the facade. We have clad the building in printed graphical elements to reveal the rich cultural heritage of Nigeria in relation to the 6 districts represented by the commissioners. The central atrium that is formed by the arrangement of the 6 pillars is a grand open triple-height space. It is appropriate to the grand civic function of the building. In its center lies a large reflection pool that increases the sense of volume in the space. The 6 pillars represent each of the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, which are represented by the commissioners. The 6 pillars provide generous waiting rooms and reception areas, with commissioner staff accommodation, as well as a private suite for the commissioner and his or her personal staff. There is a private stair leading between the commissioner's level and the supporting areas. The central boardroom is suspended in the central atrium space. It can be provided with auditorium seating or as a setting for formal roundtable discussion. The project uses a simple one-way vehicular driveway system to allow an efficient parking layout. The 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria provide the starting point and design reference for the landscape context. Whilst the location of the NASC headquarters is within the three-arm zone of the city of Abuja, the building and its occupants represent the geopolitical zones of all of Nigeria, and as such the landscape of the development must be representative of the unity between all of the regions of Nigeria. The architectural design concept was inspired by the notion of supporting the democratic process in Nigeria by making the internal workings of the government clear, open, and transparent. At the same time, it was the intention to provide a building befitting the stately function of the National Assembly Service Commission, a building that would maintain the sense of grandeur and scale established by other surrounding pieces of architecture. The site lies immediately to the east of the National Assembly, within the three-arm zone, central area of Abuja. The landscape interfaces with areas of forest as well as the National Assembly buildings and its associated infrastructure, and acts as a transition point between the developed and natural landscape. One of the primary context elements is Aso Rock. Whilst not physically adjacent to the site, the rock is an element which influences their location. The design seeks to draw this element into the site. Another key driver in the design was the building's relationship to the landscape. Seeking to minimize our disruption of the natural landscape, vegetation, flora and fauna, we have sought to elevate the landscape on which the project is built.